Good evening. Tonight, we report a seismic shift in U.S. foreign policy. President Trump's administration has declared a non-international armed conflict against drug cartels. These cartels are now officially designated as terrorist organizations, unlocking the use of military force. This is not just a symbolic move, it's a declaration of war on transnational criminal groups, not nation-states. The administration claims cartels are a direct threat to American security, responsible for countless deaths via fentanyl and other drugs. Now the president asserts war powers to conduct military operations against these groups under the law of armed conflict. The rules of engagement have changed. What was once a law enforcement issue is now a military one. In the weeks since, U.S. military strikes in the Caribbean destroyed 3 suspected cartel boats, killing 17 people labeled as unlawful combatants. This marks a stark departure from treating suspects as criminals entitled to due process. The conflict is no longer theoretical, it is active. Tonight we debate, is this a necessary step to protect American lives, or a dangerous overreach of executive power? We'll hear from a supporter of the policy, a critic, and a legal expert to unpack the rules, risks, and legal questions. The stakes are high for the U.S. and our neighbors to the south. Stay with us as we explore the consequences of this new war. The debate begins now. Let's meet our panel. Thank you, Anderson. For years, cartels have poisoned our communities and killed Americans with impunity. They are not mere criminals. They are a ruthless, heavily armed enemy. President Trump's decision to use military force is overdue and necessary for national security. This policy lets us strike cartel leaders, infrastructure, and supply lines with military precision, as seen in the recent Caribbean operations. The message is clear. Nowhere is safe for the cartels now. We're also empowering allies like Ecuador with resources, technology, and training to reclaim their countries. This is not imperialism, it's partnership against a common enemy. The status quo failed. Inaction is the real risk. The cartels declared war on us, and now we're fighting back. This is a decisive, moral course of action. We must support the president's bold leadership to win this war. Anderson, I must warn, this policy is a catastrophic mistake. Declaring war on cartels militarizes a criminal problem and risks endless conflict. Cartels are profit-driven networks, not ideological terrorists. Bombing them won't end drug demand. The recent strikes killed 17 people without due process. Were they kingpins or coerced smugglers? This sets a precedent for executive power to kill on suspicion, without oversight. Militarizing the fight will escalate violence and harm civilians, especially in partner countries like Ecuador. US-backed raids already put innocent families in the crossfire, breeding resentment and instability. The real solution is reducing US drug demand through treatment and prevention, not war. We can't bomb our way out of a public health crisis. This approach will entangle us in unwinnable conflict and undermine human rights. It's a dangerous fantasy that won't make us safer. Legally, this is an audacious and troubling move. The administration is stretching the law of armed conflict, applying it to criminal cartels, a highly contested interpretation. By invoking wartime powers, the president claims authority to kill and detain without trial, bypassing the legal system. This sets a dangerous precedent for executive overreach, allowing war without congressional approval. Many legal experts and lawmakers warn this blurs the line between war and law enforcement, threatening civil liberties. Internationally, U.S. strikes near other nations' waters risk violating sovereignty and undermining global legal norms. Labeling cartel members as unlawful combatants puts us in a legal gray zone under the Geneva Conventions. This could erode human rights protections worldwide. We are navigating a legal minefield with potentially explosive consequences. The stakes for law and democracy are immense. The impact is stark in Guayaquil, Ecuador, a key drug transit hub now under siege. US-funded raids, using drones and elite units, sweep through poor neighborhoods, often catching families in the crossfire. For residents, this is not a strategic war. It's a terrifying intrusion into daily life. Violence has escalated, trapping communities between cartel terror and state force. Officers admit the violence is fueled by drug demand in the US and Europe. American military involvement ignores the root cause demand. Instead, it pours gasoline on the fire, deepening the crisis. The human cost is real. Fear, destroyed communities, and eroded trust in government. This is the price paid on the front lines of America's new war. The question remains, are we helping or just exporting our own crisis? In Washington, Trump's declaration has ignited fierce political division. Many lawmakers, both Democrat and Republican, feel sidelined by the administration's unilateral action. Critics argue the president is usurping Congress's constitutional power to declare war. Secrecy about targets and rules of engagement fuels suspicion and demands for oversight. Some call for public hearings and a formal authorization for use of military force. Yet, Trump's allies praise the move as bold and necessary, prioritizing action over procedure. The U.S. Navy's significant deployment in the Caribbean proceeds without clear congressional consensus. The power struggle between executive authority and congressional oversight is reaching a boiling point. How this is resolved will shape future U.S. war powers. The implications for democracy and foreign policy are profound. The path forward is deeply contested. Supporters urge escalation, deeper military and intelligence cooperation, expanded targeting, and full congressional backing for the president. They argue this is a fight for national survival, demanding strength and resolve. Critics call for immediate de-escalation, halt military strikes, repeal the terrorist designation, and shift focus to public health and diplomacy. They advocate a Marshall Plan for addiction treatment and anti-corruption efforts abroad. The legal expert insists on restoring process. The president must seek congressional approval and public debate before waging war. Congress must reclaim its constitutional role and hold hearings on any military action. Only with democratic legitimacy can the nation weigh the true costs and benefits. The debate is just beginning. The choices made now will shape American security and foreign relations for years to come. Thank you for joining us.